think that was also just kind of just the lyrics. It was just like, oh, it was so dope, so incredible. Anyway, hey man, how you feeling this morning?
It's cold, brother. It's cold.
It's a cold world.
It is.
It's
It is indeed.
it's a cold, cold world. So get used to it.
Yes, sir.
And listen, this morning it is the Power Hour brought to you every Monday through Friday, weekdays from 6 a.m. for now to 7 a.m. I guess right now, Kuwait is probably thinking like, it better stay 6 a.m. Somebody's got to get in there to make the donuts and make this work. It
That's
is
right.
the Power Hour, folks. And sitting across from me in our virtual studios is Bishop Dwayne David Roysta.
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
And listen, Kuwait probably is listening to you talk about his cold and rolling her eyes in the studio.
Yeah, because my commute was real hard. I had to go down 2 flights of steps. So,
Yeah, I just want you to know, be mindful, bruh. If your microphone goes out today,
Kuwaisa, we appreciate you.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Kuwait
morning.
is like, you did. Yeah, it's cold.
Kuwaisa, what's it like out there on the streets?
Honestly, it's not awful, but it kind of had stopped a little bit as I was driving in, but I hear that it's going to pick back up again for the rest of the day. So we'll see what happens when I leave out of here. But it wasn't too bad, just, a little slippery and rough in certain areas, but not
Well,
awful.
we're glad you made it in safely, and
Me
thank you for
too.
your efforts.
Thank you.
Kuwait is holding it down. And listen, folks, I mean, boy, what an incredible weekend. Revelations in Philadelphia. That'll be the name of a new album, Revelations.
From Philly International Records. No.
Yeah, where's Kenny Gamble when you need him, huh? Him and Huff. Can we get a new song called Revelations about COVID-19,
Mm.
fighting Philly? Let's remember, I'm looking at my news screen right now. One of the national stations is on. They are reporting that the total death count is at 442,824 people.
Wow.
Wow. You and I have buried some of those people
Hmm.
and virtually held the hands of family members of some of those people, participated in FaceTime prayer services with dying relatives because the families couldn't get there. And millions more have been infected, and number of people now are living with the consequences. They're saying people who lost their smell and taste.
Hmm.
Some don't even know if it'll ever come back.
That's right.
Other people are having heart problems. And so COVID-19, in addition to the economic havoc that it has wreaked on the country and the world, let's not forget this is not just an American problem. We are all going through it. Um, that with all of that, that this is not the time to play games and conduct business as usual as we try to find our way out of this. First, with measures around how to conduct yourself during a pandemic and keep everybody around you safe. You can still move around, but you have to take precautions. And then, secondly, and more importantly, how do we do the vaccine rollout?
Yeah.
And, we talked about Philly fights COVID last week, the 22-year-old who rolled out this company, Drexel grad student,
Hmm.
with no real resume to speak of that would suggest that he should be trusted with the vaccine. Yet he got the contract. And had he not made a switch from a nonprofit organization to a for-profit, fact of the matter is we would have probably never even known about this story.
That's correct.
So we talked a lot about this last week, just how crazy it is that the Black Doctors Consortium with Dr. Ayla Stanford did not receive this, the responsibility and all of those kind of things. But lo and behold, over the weekend,
Hmm.
turns out that a staffer in the health department of the city of Philadelphia told the young man exactly what number to put on his bid.
Wasn't just a staffer, it was a deputy commissioner.
Yes.
Hmm.
Caroline.
Yes.
Can we play that today? Quasi sweet Caroline. She wasn't. That was not very sweet, Caroline. So Caroline apparently is gone, and but she gave him the secret sauce, so to speak, and that's how this young guy was able to win that contract to administer the vaccine.
Hmm.
Sadly, this is how business in America is done. He's going to probably be a billionaire one day. You laugh.
And run for
You
president
laugh.
of the United States. Yes.
You
No,
laugh
I'm
at.
serious. I mean, you know.
And I mean, it may, we don't have to talk about like someday in the long future, probably like 2 or 3 years from now, we'll be looking up like that guy. Yeah,
Hmm.
because he understands American business.
That's right.
You know, you get in good with somebody on the inside, get insider information nobody else has. Ayla is like, oh, okay, here's the number. I think it'll take to actually do it. Then you got some woman on the inside, and it's like, she's like, I shouldn't tell you this. Put down that number. Don't call me again for this until tomorrow. Thanks. I'll hook you up with a Starbucks gift card. That's business in America. He's gonna be
Yep.
rich. He gonna be he gonna be rich, rich.
I mean, that's the struggle, right? Though that this is how government contracts are gotten. This is how things happen, and unfortunately, in this particular circumstance, it actually, you know, in my estimation, it doesn't have to be anybody else's. I just think it put people's lives in jeopardy. This is a guy that has no experience in healthcare whatsoever, that was given a major contract using the Pennsylvania Convention Center to give out vaccines. Now, I'm sure he hired qualified staff, and I hope that's the case, so that we were actually able to, the people that got the vaccines, you know, got good quality vaccines. But then he did stuff like take vials from his, you know, from the load that he was given, and go to, you know, give injections to his friends. Now, it sounds like he gave the injections to his friends. He's not a medical personnel to qualify to do that. What if one of them had an allergic reaction to the, you know, to the injection? I mean, it could have been all kinds of things that went on with that. So, you know, certainly, you know, behavior that was not helpful in this particular moment. And, you know, one of the big challenges that's happening now is that it's causing black and brown folk, especially in Philadelphia, to question the safety of, you know, being able to get these vaccines, which is one thing we don't need people to wrestle with at this particular moment. We need to get to 80% of people to have the vaccine so we can get to some level of herd immunity, so we can open up the country and the world again. And, you know, everything like this are a setback. I mean, the bigger problem I have is, you know, how do you give a 22-year-old kid who's still in college a huge contract like that? And Dr. Ayla Stanford's got to fight for every penny she gets from the city when she started her program on her own, because the city did not know how to reach out to black folk and ways to connect with them in communities of color. So, you know, I have a bigger problem with that, you know, in this moment of hyper sensitivity to racism, you know, that the city was actually that stupid. And I'm just going to say it just like that. Absolutely that stupid.
Oh, you're surprised?
No, I really shouldn't be. But it was stupid. They should have just gone with Dr. Stanford in the first place and called it a day. She's earned the respect of people who are suspect of this whole system in the first place. And if they had gone with her, we wouldn't be in this controversy right now. Pennsylvania would not yet be another embarrassment in the United States of America, because it's made national news. And we would, you know, folk would be getting the injections. We probably have a very orderly process for making this happen. People would get the injections at the various sites around the city that they're comfortable with. And we would be well on our way of getting toward, you know, total vaccination of the city of Philadelphia.
How can you after an election, is there a way to impeach a mayor? I'm just
Nope.
asking. I
You
had a
cannot
question.
impeach a mayor in the state of Pennsylvania. So here's the deal. Philadelphia has a rule that allows you to impeach government officials, but it is superseded by the Pennsylvania Constitution that does not allow for recall. Not impeached, you can recall. Philadelphia, I'm forgetting the word. Philadelphia Code allows you, Philadelphia Charter allows you to recall a politician. However, it was preempted by the Pennsylvania state constitution, which does not allow for recalls of politicians in the state of Pennsylvania at any level. So you cannot be recalled as a politician in Pennsylvania. So once you're elected, unless you've committed a felony and are therefore kicked out of your particular office, you cannot be removed from office in the state of Pennsylvania.
Not even if you agreed to like tear gas your own people?
Not even if you agree to tear gas your own people. Unless
That,
it's found as a felony conviction, you can keep your job.
not even if your subordinates gave away lucrative COVID contract to an
Nope.
unqualified
Nope.
company?
Nope.
Hmm. Not even if you said, I'm going to end stop and frisk day one, and then day one you said, oh, you didn't read the small print in my campaign literature, did you?
Nope. That's why they lied.
Can you imagine all the stuff we don't know right now?
And that's frightening.
I mean, this stuff had to be forced out. Could you really imagine this? I mean, seriously, can you just for a moment imagine all that we don't know that's happened in this city?
Mm-hmm.
Ed Minner says on Facebook Live, yes, the young man, he had help to get the bid. Need to investigate names, and some people need to be relieved of their jobs.
But the deputy commissioner quit. The deputy commissioner of health, she resigned Friday.
Caroline Johnson.
Yeah, Caroline Johnson resigned on Friday over this issue because she had given away the trade secrets. Mayor Kinney came out in support of Commissioner Farley the other day, and continued to support him, even though he's questioning what happened. So yeah.
Now here's what's interesting. Nice segue. So check this out. Kinney supports Health Commissioner Farley, the health commissioner, who's been under fire a lot during COVID-19. I mean, personally, a lot of the fire came from people who were like COVID deniers early, like, oh, why are you closing up our part of the town? Just close off the black section. They're the ones dying. But, I happen to like Farley, but, people want him out. So Kinney, in support of Farley, writes a very strongly worded letter to express his support.
Mm-hmm.
People are contrasting that by the fact that when it comes to Danielle Outlaw, who again, for the record, people, said in an job interview, when asked by the Kinney administration, what are your thoughts on tear gas? We hear you used it in Portland during some protests. She said, yes, I've used it. Don't like to use it, but I want to keep it as a tool in my tool belt. If in Philly, we haven't done that since the MOVE bombing. Would you use it in Philly if needed? Yes, but only if the mayor signed off. Oh, okay. If tear gas was a deal breaker, why would you hire a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you hire her, and then you give her permission, not once, but twice it happens, right? Well, it happens twice. Let me just say it that way. Because part of the investigation shows that after it was used the first time, nobody said anything. The cops then on their own felt like, hey, it's all good. We can just keep tear gassing people. So I don't even think they even asked permission all the way up the chain the second time.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to Danielle Outlaw, who is now also under fire for her job, namely by the Inquirer, who says she should resign or Kinney should ask for her resignation, Kinney, who brought her in, eyes wide open, and participated in the tear gassing decision, sends out a tweet of support. Farley gets a letter of support, full-throated support. Danielle Outlaw gets like 240 characters or less.
Right, and then he doesn't even show up at the press conference that was held too, right?
Yeah. Yo, it's COVID, bro. It's COVID. I can't come outside.
Look, that's some crazy stuff. So folk are asking the question, I think it was Benita said she's waiting for the big reveal on who knew to get the contract. Let me just say this about this contract. And Kinney was there. The deputy commissioner was there when they opened the site at Pennsylvania Convention Center. Cindy Bass was there. There was another council person that was there who I'm totally forgetting at the top of my head. I think we need to ask all of them the question. I mean, this is the other thing for politicians, right? Like, you show up at these events because people want you to show up at things. But, like, have you done your due diligence before you ever show up? And you know, to really find out what the real deal is. Did somebody bother to ask a question about how this guy got a contract? How this 22-year-old kid, 22-year-old white kid from Drexel University gets this contract? He's the CEO of 3 companies while he's a college student at the same time. I'm like, did anybody have a question about this?
Dude, my youngest daughter, who's in high school, would have known better. We were driving yesterday, and we passed by this young white kid driving this really nice car. And she just, I mean, literally, she just says, "Daddy's money." I was like, where did that come from? She said, "Obviously, look at him. He's my age. That's Daddy's money." And I'm laughing. They should hire her in the city. She would have looked at this guy and been like, "Are you serious? Let me check out that resume of yours. Oh, that company, turns out, I did a little Googling, that belongs to your dad, but you're repping it like it's your own." So, in fact, let me see your transcript. Oh, my God. Yes, bro. I mean, nobody, like you said, nobody thought to probe deeper. I mean, this is just, yeah, I mean, so Greg Brinkley wants to know, can Caroline Johnson, I'm assuming, that's who you're talking about, former deputy commissioner in the health department who resigned, can she be criminally charged? I think she might.
They're not going to charge her.
No, I just asked, I didn't say they were, but I'm just saying I think she might be able to be charged. You pass in that kind of information, there has to be not just ethics rules about that, but like criminal rules about that. Yeah, too bad Bruce Castor's not around. He could actually like lead the investigation.
Dude, we got to talk about that next segment. We've got to talk about that next segment.
Now, Kier, if you are listening this morning, please, for all that is good and holy, call and give us your thoughts about Bruce Castor representing Donald Trump. We got to take a quick commercial break. But I mean, when you think this thing can't get more weird, it gets more weird. Folks, this is the Power Hour, brought to you each and every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. here at WURD Radio. Do not go anywhere. Hit the share button if you're on Facebook Live. Bring your friends and family in to this conversation. And be careful. It's snow. It's ice. It's just nasty out there. We'll be right back.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Week with Stephanie Humphrey.
I'm your Tech Life expert, Stephanie Humphrey, and this is your Word Digital Tip of the Week. Apps like Indeed, Career Builder, or Glassdoor can help you find a job right on your phone. One of the best strategies you can use to get more responses from potential employers is to pay attention to the job description. The keywords in the job description should be keywords you include in your resume. If the job posting is for a specific title or has specific skills listed, make sure you have those words in your resume as well. This means you'll have to have slightly different versions of your resume handy for different job postings, but you can easily keep them in the Notes app on your smartphone and cut and paste as needed. Get more career tips right here on Word and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
The Word Digital Tip of the Week is brought to you by Comcast NBC Universal. You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We are here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinion. When we last left you, right before we went to that commercial break, we were having a conversation about former Montgomery County District Attorney, former Montgomery County Commissioner, former candidate for Attorney General in the state of Pennsylvania, Bruce Castor, the guy who let Bill Cosby off in the Andrea Constad trial originally, and then wound up having to saying a judge didn't believe what he was saying when the next DA decided to bring Cosby to trial. That here we are in this moment looking at Bruce Castor, who is now the co-lead attorney in the defense of Donald Trump. Let me say that again. He's the co-lead attorney in the defense of Donald Trump.
Well, what do you make of this? I mean, more stunning than that news is the fact that, like right before the trial begins, Trump's two lead attorneys, which opened the door for Bruce Castor and the other person, they're like, we're tapping out. It's 2 weeks to go. This is crazy. Apparently, Trump wants them to concentrate on his baseless claims about election fraud.
Yep.
And they're like, dude, you got to be serious about this at some point. Like, when are you going to take this serious? And he's like, I'm Donald Trump. What are you talking about?
They're not trying to put their law licenses on the line.
Right. So, and they don't want to get sued by Dominion.
That's right.
Think about that.
That's right.
Because to roll with what he's talking about, you got to bring Dominion and drag them. And Dominion is like, anybody put our name in your mouth, you're getting a lawsuit.
Right.
Like,
they're already suing folk down in Georgia.
Like Denzel at the end of Training Day, I'm putting cases on all of y'all. You gonna be in Pelican Bay. Shoot program. Call Dominion one more time. No. So they left and they leave Bruce Castor. So the B team, actually, remember, the two that left, that was actually the B team. So now the B team is gone because the A team left long ago. The B team is now tapped out. And so now you got the C team. This is going to be ugly in 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, I think it's actually interesting that Bruce Castor is one of the lead attorneys, especially as Trump is trying to claim that there was voter fraud in Pennsylvania. So what do? You bring in the former district attorney in the third biggest county in the state. It's probably one of the most politically powerful counties in the state. As well, outside of Philadelphia and Allegheny County. And you then make him your lead attorney. Bruce Castor still has political aspirations. This might endear him to the Trump base in Pennsylvania. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Bruce Castor make a run for Toomey's seat after this. And try to make either that or run for governor and try to claim Trump's base here in the state of Pennsylvania. The difference between Trump and Castor's photogenic. He's attractive. He will, be able to do well across the state. He'll be able to reach into the pockets of, everyday Pennsylvanians in the center part of the state and tell the story about how he stood with their president. So I think that this is a setup for him to be able to run either for Senate or for the governor in 2022.
So, yeah, Connie was on that same thing. She says on Facebook, is he doing it for recognition? Haven't heard his name in a minute. And I think you might be onto something. Listen. Yeah. So, but I mean, as I keep trying to tell people all the time, the Trump thing only works for Trump. You know what I mean?
It's like everybody else alive, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, Trump can go around talking and spouting QAnon stuff and, talk about Nancy or liking tweets and stuff like that call for executions of elected officials and things like that. He can get away with that. As he said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. And I believe he could. But everybody else who tries that, man, is just coming under like extreme scrutiny and a whole lot of just hell that they were not, that they were thinking they're going to get. So if Bruce Castor's approach is, I'm going to basically go all in on the wackiness of what Trump is saying and make a complete fool of myself. Yes, you're right. It certainly might help him in a Republican primary in Pennsylvania, and it could lock it up for him, be honest with you. But in case you didn't notice, Trump just lost PA. And Toomey is tapping out because Toomey is like, I see the handwriting on the wall. Like, these Dems are coming for me. And I don't want to be in Congress anymore. And so to think that, I don't know. I mean, I'm still not really sure who the Dems are going to the Dems are going to put up. I hear Fetterman is really wanting it. I'm not I'm not sure.
He already announced he's running.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who out of Philly.
Jim Kenney's talking about running.
Stop it.
I'm serious. That's
just stop it. Please.
to talk.
Please. Jim Kenney couldn't win a city council seat again. And I'm his friend.
Well, I mean, look, here's the deal, right? Castor's going to take this, parlay this into something bigger, you know, for him here in the state of Pennsylvania. He's going to run for some office one way or the other. I think he doesn't like being sidelined. It's actually interesting. An article in the Inquirer talked about the fact that, you know, Bruce Castor actually elevated the role of the Montgomery County DA when he was the district attorney because he never met a camera that he didn't like. He was always in the news. And so this is going to be very interesting to actually have a boss that probably likes being in the news more than he does, you know, at this particular moment.
Well, yeah, about to say now he may mess himself up with Trump if he gets a little ahead of himself, because the one thing Trump does not tolerate is somebody who gets more shine.
That's right.
Even when the shine is like a negative way. So, yeah, Sarah says Jim Kenney should run away from Philly. Well played, Sarah. Well played. So early in the morning. Hey, listen. Right. It is shady up in here. It's shady. Hey, so, yeah, I'm rocking my Shovelhead T-shirt. Somebody on the chat, I think Robert asked, what is Shovelhead? Just do a quick Google search. It's a motorcycle engine. Harley, you know, they went from a panhead to a shovelhead. You know, it's just they name their engines different things. So this was from 1966 to 84. And so, yeah, this is my uncle. The first Harley I rode was a Shovelhead, my uncle's, which is my late uncle who taught me how to ride. The bike is still in California in a garage somewhere, hopefully to be restored one day. But speaking of history, can we just you know, acknowledge that this is Black History Month starting today?
Today's February 1st. Absolutely.
Shortest month in the year. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, America.
Well, it started out as
there's
a
no
week.
offense.
I mean, it was only a week originally.
I know. If they wanted more, they'd give us 3 days into March, but no. So anyway, it's Black History Month. I have an interesting Black History factoid for you.
All right, go for it.
So, like I said, our youngest is in high school and looking for college, college now. And hard to believe, that'll be next year. You know, junior, we were talking to her, I said, no, next calendar year, you'll be gone. No, I'm just a junior. Yes. Later this year, you'll be a senior.
That's right.
And almost this time next year, we'll be like packing boxes for you. Teary-eyed, but you'll be gone somewhere. So we've been talking about schools. And one of the places that we were talking about, yes, Sarah, my Shovelhead T-shirt would work today. It is a snow emergency. Sarah is on fire today. Sarah coming with it. But one of the places we're thinking about is Bethune-Cookman. One of the places I should say she's thinking about. She's looking at a lot of schools. Yeah, she wants to definitely do a HBCU somewhere south where it's warm. But check this out. Mary McLeod Bethune. We know Mary McLeod Bethune, tremendous educator, just an incredible, I mean, just life, you know, this huge figure, black woman leader in the early 20th, mid 20th century. Leslie's grandfather, who was a physician in Liberty City, he was a Meharry grad, passed away some years ago, but he went to Bethune undergrad.
Oh, wow.
And shout out to Will Mega and all the Kappas. He was a Kappa. And, but bro, he was able to pay his way. He had basically what we would call today work study.
Right.
Guess what his job was?
What did he do?
He was the personal valet to Mary McLeod Bethune.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a sweet job.
Like family Black history.
There you go.
Like what? Talk about burying the lead. Like when we first met, you should have led with that. I'm like, hi, I'm Mark. I'm Leslie. My grandfather used to like be the personal valet of Mary McLeod Bethune. I'm like, what? Like you lead with that story.
That's right.
I know she told me this like somewhere during the 20 years we've talked about this, but it just kind of hit me, you know, recently as we're now thinking about where our daughter might, you know, end up in school. And I'm just like, you know, these connections that we have, these important events that have happened in the lives of our families and these places and people that we've been able to touch, who then, you know, these stories and traditions are passed down to us, are extremely important.
That's right.
And in Black History Month, in this moment, we need to recognize that, you know, it's not just the big, luminous figures, but it's also these everyday persons who soldiered on. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like going to Meharry in med school in the early 1940s. That's Nashville. Still deeply segregated, still Jim Crow. You're just trying to be a doctor to save lives, like folk like Ayla Stanford and others today.
Right.
And, you know, got to be called boy, got to be called the N-word, got to be disrespected, got to get your food from the back door. Even though you have the ability to save somebody's life in there, if you need to save their life, they let you come in the front door in an emergency, but you got to go to the back door. I mean, I don't know that we fully appreciate all the time the kind of sacrifice and the grind that people put in just for the things that today you and I literally take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Happy Black History Month, folks.
You know, you just reminded me, I have members of my church who were very active in the civil rights movement. And, you know, I think we see them as just members of the church, but actually they're historic figures. One of my members was in the Selma's Children's March. Many of you heard about this, where thousands of young children in Selma, Alabama, actually left school and were boycotting for people, they were protesting for people to get the right to vote. She wound up spending 5 days in jail, you know, at the age of 16, you know, because she was, you know, pressing for vote. One of my other members was a SNCC member, an early SNCC leader. She was at the founding convention of SNCC. In North Carolina when she was a student at Shaw University. And so
whoa, hold on, slow down. Don't run past that story. Was a what?
Yeah,
a founding member?
Yeah, she was at the founding convention of SNCC and was a SNCC member of SNCC in the early days.
Can we get her on the show?
Huh?
Can we get her on the show one morning?
Yeah, I'm sure we could. She eventually wound up in working for President Carter. She was a political appointee during the Carter administration to the U.S. Department of Education. And yeah, I'm sure I can get her on. I'll talk to her about it, see if we can get her on. Our show is so early, we might have to do a taped thing with her. But yeah, but I'm sure she would get on. She actually has done a lot of work with the Peace Corps and going back and forth to Liberia. Has been helping them develop their education system over there. So sure.
Man, that is incredible. You know, speaking of like members, it's the same thing. You know, I have same daughter. We're talking about colleges. I'm like, you know, another school you should think about, Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina. I said, speaking of which, you know, Miss Winnie from the choir. She's like, yeah, I know Miss Winnie. Of course. I'm like, Miss Winnie was arrested in the early 1960s as a college student at Allen, along with others trying to integrate the Pearl movie theater. And she tells the story beautifully. In fact, I think I have it. I did an interview with her on a previous show. I should pull that up at some point for this month. It'll be worth replaying. But they were arrested. She's like, really? I said, yeah. And guess what? They sent them to the adult prison, the state prison, to try to scare them instead of taking them to county jail for the lockup. And when he heard about it, he, being Martin Luther King Jr. in Atlanta, dude drove from Atlanta to Columbia, South Carolina, which is not a short drive, by the way, and got them out of jail personally. Took them back to campus. She said, bought them lunch, and then they all put them in the middle of a circle, and they started singing "We Shall Overcome." I'm like, what? These are, I mean, so Robert points out that, and I haven't seen the article. I want to check this out, but he says that there's an interesting article in the New York Times about Black History Month and our hero worship. And I'm telling, I was just having this conversation with somebody. Oh, my class, you know, I had to teach all last week at the seminary, and I was actually reinforcing the same point about, you know, change, that we always remember, you know, these heroic figures as though they did these things by themselves. And yes, it's important to remember like the leaders, but you couldn't have done it without everyday people who are willing to sacrifice. One of the books that everybody should own, either on Kindle, you can get it on Audible and listen to it. It's very long. I mean, just listening to it is over 20 hours. That gives you a sense of how long it is. But Isabel Wilkinson's The Warmth of Other Suns.
Yeah.
Now, if you have family that were a part of the Great Migration, that left anywhere in the South and went somewhere to the north or to the west, then those people were in every fashion also heroic figures. I mean, Bill Russell, who my mom was a classmate with at McClymonds High School in Oakland. I found that out by reading the book. Because they're like, Bill Russell, born 1933, went to McClymonds. I'm like, huh? My mom born in 33, she went to McClymonds. Mom, do you know Bill Russell? Who, Bill from typing class? Oh, Bill from typing class?
Yes.
What are you talking about? But yeah, that Bill from typing class, he came from a part of Louisiana that was a big part of the migration to Oakland, Monroe. But the reason he left, he was a child. He didn't have any say in leaving. His parents left and brought him with them to Oakland. His dad was trying to get gasoline. The act of getting gasoline, Reister. He got tired of waiting in the long line, backed up to leave the gas station, and was met with a shotgun to his head by the white gas station owner in Monroe, Louisiana, who said, boy, where you going? He said, I'm tired of waiting in line. I got to go. No, you're going to sit here and buy my gas. I'll tell you you can leave.
Oh, wow.
At gunpoint, made to buy gas from a man who's going to blow your head off.
Whoa.
That's Bill Russell's daddy.
Whoa.
With Bill Russell and his mama in the car watching. And that's why he left. That's why they left Monroe for Oakland. And people's lives were threatened. Her book is so beautifully written. It talks about how people left in the middle of the night because people who ran these sharecropping operations would threaten black people with death and lynching if they didn't leave. I didn't understand why we always packed in the middle of the night when we went out of town. I still do it. Leslie's like, why are we leaving at 3 a.m? I don't know. It's because that trauma is so deep.
Yeah.
That's like, you don't want anybody to see you leaving. Right. I mean, I thought it was because you don't want anybody breaking your house, but it's deeper than that.
I thought it was because of traffic, but anyway, that was because we used to do the same thing. We would go down to Virginia. My father didn't leave to go to Virginia until midnight when we were kids growing up, because my family's from Virginia. And we would go down there to visit the cousins and everybody, and we always left at 12:01 a.m.
Right. Yeah, because the sharecropping people might get you. Anyway, look, we're up on the break. It's 6:40. It's a snow emergency. Be careful, folk. We'll continue this great conversation this morning. And, Kenrick, I think I'm actually make that a T-shirt. Bill from typing class, and get a picture of Bill Russell. He says, Bill from typing class remains my favorite baller. Yes. Bill, man, if y'all would have been on the phone, man, I almost like dropped the phone. Yeah, Mom, that's Bill from typing class. He's also a Hall of Famer. We'll be right back on the other side.
Today, millions of Americans face barriers to obtaining a college degree. But at WGU, we're setting out to change that. With a range of scholarships and grants aimed at expanding access to a quality education, making tuition more affordable, and giving students a path forward, we're helping people turn obstacles into opportunities. Because everyone deserves a chance to succeed. WGU. Ambition never rests. Visit WGU.edu to learn more.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Keeping you informed. As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where you can get no-cost, barrier-free COVID-19 testing this week. Monday, February 1st, at 2 locations, SEPTA of 69th Street, 6901 Market Street in Upper Darby from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., and then at noon at Salem Baptist Church, 2741 Woodland Road in Abington. And Tuesday, February 2nd, 12 noon till 8 p.m. at Christian Stronghold Baptist Church, 4701 Lancaster Avenue in Philadelphia. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. Some busy spots as you make your way this morning. Snow around the area, so do watch for a lot of reduced speed conditions. This first report is sponsored by Audible. Southbound 295, you're going to find some delays in the area of 168. Still an accident there, pretty heavy as a result. Southbound 295, looking at a 42 this morning. 42 northbound 55 to 295 Napa. It's not bad, but southbound side between Creek Road and 55, some earlier delays easing out there. We had an earlier accident that has been cleared. 55 northbound and the 42 a bit slow. 95 in Philly southbound, you're going to find that slowing. Cottman down through Bridge through that construction. Then again, Allegheny through Girard. Delays there. Northbound 95 near Woodhaven Road accident there now is off to the shoulder. Schuylkill Expressway westbound University through the Vine Expressway, slowing there again through the ongoing construction. Audible delivers the best audio entertainment all in one app. Choose a plan that's right for you and make it a year of Audible originals, best-selling audiobooks, popular podcasts, and more. Start listening free with a 30-day trial on audible.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Crystal Cly.
Good morning out there. Might seem like a bit of a lull for the start of our day with lighter precip or maybe some sleet and freezing rain, but this will return to snow in the afternoon, and at times you will get heavy bands. That means that we'll pick up an additional 4 to 8 inches of snow, and in some parts north and east Philadelphia, it could even be higher than that. Temperatures remain around freezing today, tonight falling into the upper 20s, and Tuesday still some scattered snow showers as the storm starts to exit with a forecast high of 34. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Crystal Cly with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Dwayne Royster and Mark Kelly Tyler. Hey, WURD family, have you signed up for your WURD membership yet? Join the WURD family today for access to special events, exclusive digital content, WURD swag, VIP invitations, discounts, and our printed newsletter, WURD Press. WURD values your support. We dedicate ourselves to providing the best news coverage for our listeners every step of the way. Please visit www.wordradio.com/forward for more details. So get your WURD membership today and support this black radio station that's making history as the only black talk station in the state of Pennsylvania every single day. Join our team. Become a part of the work.
We are Black history.
We are Black history. Absolutely. We are absolutely Black history.
That
Doesn't
last
feel
segment,
that way sometimes. What do you say?
Yeah. The last segment we did, that's now Black history. It happened in the past.
That's right.
Hey, check this out. I know we're going to talk. We got to talk a little bit about what's happening on Wall Street before we get out of here today. But just saw the story in the Root, and you're talking about like past practices. So sadly, a gentleman died in Louisiana, black guy, and his only dying wish to his wife, he had cancer, may rest in peace, was that she and the children find him a grave that was close to his home in Oberlin, Louisiana, his old stomping ground, according to the Root. And this, well, actually, the Washington Post picked it up as well. They went to the Oakland, not Oakland, but Oak-L-I-N, Oakland Springs Baptist Cemetery. And the woman who worked there told her, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Sorry for your loss." Now I'm paraphrasing. But we don't bury coloreds here. This is a whites-only cemetery. Now, of course, that used to be the policy. Since been updated. They've let her, let's just say she and the company have parted ways. But apparently she really likes black history.
Loves black history, not the good kind, but loves black history.
She said, "Hey, it's Black History Month, right? Let's play a little game. Whites only buried here." Can you believe that in 2021?
Yeah, I can actually believe it. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, right now.
I do not know this woman at all. But I am going to put on my prophetic hat and prophesy that she probably voted for Joe Biden.
Trump. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Biden like never. Yeah.
So just going to the Root for a minute, right? So an article came out in the Root Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated for Nobel Peace Prize by a Norwegian member of parliament, Peter Ade. He has lifted up Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi, who founded the Black Lives Matter movement. So the Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And do you know who they're up against?
Donald Trump.
They're up against Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. There's another politician in that nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize as well. He was Norwegian politician Christian Tybring-Gjedde nominated Donald Trump for the Peace Prize because Donald Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know why Donald Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize?
Mm-hmm.
Because Barack Obama got one.
Hey, you know what we never talked about? It's really like silly, but it also is relatable.
Mm-hmm.
So Melania Trump, when they left the White House,
Mm-hmm.
apparently didn't have time to write her own thank you notes. Now, first of all, I'm terrible with thank you notes.
Mm-hmm.
I am just terrible with them. Like, I always have good intentions, but I'm sorry, y'all. So if you ever sent me something, I didn't say thank you. It's not that appreciated. I'm just terrible about it. But what I would not do is what Melania did. Like, have a paid staffer write my thank you notes. She had somebody write thank you. It's like, no, I wouldn't say that. Say it this way. Oh, my God. Somebody then said, I'm surprised she didn't copy what Michelle said.
Be best. Be best.
Can you still believe that she used, that they actually plagiarized Michelle's speech?
Yes. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise. Actually, just come to think about this for a minute. This whole be best thing that she did. Now, that's really a conjugation of the word be, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the verb to be, right? And it actually could be considered, sort of a slang thing. If Michelle Obama had said that, she would have been talked about for being ignorant. But Melania says it, and then nobody says anything about it.
Well, European accents are always cute. African accents, or like how we speak, from our communities, has always seemed to be like something that's to be looked down upon. She has a terrible, I'm just saying, like, so it's a cute accent because it's from an Eastern European country, or it's from France, and it's like, oh, such a beautiful accent. Where are you from? Somebody come from Nigeria, it's like, what are you talking about? I can't understand you. Like, come on, man. I'll tell you, this, man, it just drives you crazy after a while. But yeah, be best.
Not good. Okay, so anyway, we need to talk about the Robin Hood, the whole thing happening on Wall Street right now, the democratization of Wall Street, right? So we got to close out on this. So, all right, there are a lot of people, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, who have really not taken sides on this, but really called for an investigation, not so much into what the small purchasers of stocks are doing at the moment, but just about the whole system and how it works and how hedge funds and other big financial firms are constantly gaming Wall Street, right? And really doing it on the backs of, as she refers to, playing casino, going to the casino with businesses. So I'm actually excited about it because to read it, and I'm actually going to read it, they organized, people with not a lot of money to start buying certain stocks. And really ran GameStop up, which makes sense because Robinhood, although I use Robinhood, is really designed for young folk to be able to buy their own stocks, right? You'd be able to go negotiate, get your own stocks, do what you want to do on the market. And so they decided to go after GameStop, which was actually virtually closing stores left and right all over the place. And it went up, the stock went up 1,600% in about 3 weeks. And they were gaming it. So I'm a little ticked off because now Robinhood, which was supposed to be the portal for, average everyday people to be able to go into Wall Street, buy your own stocks, do your own research, so forth, is now blocking people from buying certain stocks. So I went to go buy a stock the other day. I wanted to buy 3 stock. They wouldn't let me buy the stock. They only let me buy 1. And it was actually a major corporation. So I was like, I don't know why y'all only let me buy 1 stock. But you can't, like, you couldn't buy GameStop, you couldn't get AMC. They shut that down for a while. Then they limited it to one purchase. Then they limited it to only sales. I mean, it's a whole thing going on with this. So I don't know. Have you been tracking this? What has this been meaning?
Yeah.
For you?
Well, so I mean, listen. So right, it is. So I was a little bit behind because, like I said, I was teaching last week, and so we were teaching about change and like these big kind of moments. And sure enough, one of my students brought it in. He brought this into class, and most of us, these are like doctoral students who are all preachers, right? And they're like, none of us are like, we're all like, huh? And so, but as he started to break it down, I'm like, this is actually a lot of what we're talking about. These right. changes. Where it fundamentally changes the way a system works. And so, yeah, I mean, look, Melvin Capital Management, a hedge fund, lost half of its money in January, 53%. That's unbelievable. I mean, just if you imagine, people putting their money in there believing this is safe, they're going to make right. money. So they're in here destroying careers, and companies. My question is this, though, Royster. Most of these folk who are doing this on Reddit, these are like young white guys, right? Mm-hmm. By and large. Not exclusively, but by and large.
Mm-hmm. There is black Reddit, too.
I got you. Yeah. I got you. But, I mean, this GameStop movement, I have not seen many black spokespersons right. on any of the big TV shows. The question I have is, when this is over and the blood has been wiped up off the ground and they have reset the table, will it be really so different? Or will it just be the same old with a different group of folk running it? Will this bring resources right. down to our communities, and will we find ways to use this same system, or will it just basically benefit a younger, hippie version of the same white guys who've been running Wall Street?
Well, my hope is, in the short term, I think what you're saying is probably what's going to happen. I think what would be positive is if black folk organized themselves and we said, okay, listen, what businesses do we want to support, right?
Jet Magazine.
There you go. Well, yeah, that's Ebony Enterprises, right? And they've changed a whole lot of stuff. But are there upcoming black businesses that we want to juice, right? That we want to support, that we want to put our money behind, that are going to do well? Can we think of ways to be able to democratize? What we're really talking about is democratizing Wall Street, right? Taking the money that, that basically has been made off of our backs as consumers for a long period of time, and using it to be able to benefit us in the long run. Not just benefiting a handful of folk, but benefiting us as a whole. So, I'm all down for democratizing Wall Street. I've been accused of being, many things, socialist, other things. So I am not a socialist people. I'm a Democrat for the moment.
I got one that we can do. Since since Coming to America Part 2 is coming back, I got a stock for us. All of us, we're going to go to Reddit, and we're going to buy Soul Glow.
Well, Reddit is just, yeah.
I'm glad you finally caught that.
Because you were like, here we go.
Yeah, we should.
Reddit is not a place you buy it. It's just a social media site, but I got it.
No, I know. We're going to organize there. Then we're going to go into Wall Street. We're going to put I got $100 on Soul Glow.
Soul Glow. I got you. All right. Well, look, we're out of time. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. Thank you, Croatia, for holding down the boards. Everybody checked in on both YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, Dr. Tyler, for everything you do each and every day. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinion. Stay tuned for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. And listen, family, go out, do us a favor. Change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.